Hello, friends, and welcome to Profoundish. I'm today's host, Weston, joined by Alex, whose birthday it just was. We'll be talking about that during the podcast, as well as starting Profoundish, dating apps, and then making a tier list on children's birthday games and how good they are for teaching kids survival skills. That's Profoundish.
So what's going on? Well, hold on. Before that, let me do a phantom clap. I get so distracted. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What is going on with your uploads, bruh?
That was such a different energy. What's going on with... Oh, wait, hang on. We got to start recording. What's going on?
I had to reassess the energy, the vibe.
Uploads for the YouTube channel, the Magic Man Mo YouTube channel?
No!
YouTube.com/MagicManMo. What are you talking about?
This is behind the curtain. Our uploads, when you upload your stuff to me, why am I getting episode 71?
I have no idea.
What's happening?
I think it's user error. I think it's me. I think it's my organizational structure has failed. So files are getting mixed up with other files. Things are not named correctly for I don't know what reason.
Yeah, it's called like Riverside 17136 or whatever.
Well, so a couple of times when I had to send you something, it's because I was literally like on my phone downloading it, and then I just try to upload it to you as fast as possible. So I would be like at Subway trying to upload to you like a 4 gigabyte file on our slow as balls internet. So I'm just trying to get it to you as fast as possible. So yeah, no, I'm just overwhelmed with files, apparently. I don't know.
It's funny trying to sync it up and then hearing the chaos ensue of 2 separate recording days. And, I'm trying to put, like, my conversation with yours. I'm just like, phantom clap. When you get that going, it's good. And they're like, hey, Weston, how are you doing? And you're like, well, I don't know about cell phones. I really prefer to do... It's like, it's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know what's... It shouldn't be an issue because they should all be named by episode number. And so I don't know if I'm just forgetting what number I'm on or what. Well, we're on episode... We are on episode 84.
Is this 84?
This is episode 84. This is me saying it to our listeners, to me, and to you. We're on episode 84. So later, when you get this audio and you're like, this should be episode 87. No,
right.
We are at episode 84 right now.
Nobody panic. This is episode 84. Nobody panic.
If I call this file anything else, then I'm wrong.
Right. You heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
Weston
I would love to find
has been
out,
wrong.
like, when this episode comes out, if this is actually 85, I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
Well, how we do... Remember, we did have episode 0, so there's kind of a weird,
Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, episode 84 is the 85th episode, but that's not what I mean. I mean, this should be episode number 84.
Hey, it's been a few weeks. I'm curious, anybody listening, what do you think about our intro? We added this intro in the last couple weeks, and I'm curious what you think about it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think we're cute? Do you think we're ugly?
Yeah, that was Alex's doing, actually. That was I was impressed with. I thought it was a good intro, the little video animation. For those of you that just listen and haven't seen the video, then you might not realize we have a new little intro animation. I say animation, it's not like cartoon figures, but like a little intro animation to go along with the videos to sort of intro us into the show.
To the show.
I think it turned out really good. So
thank you. I appreciate that. I had fun
actually,
making it.
While we're talking about behind the scenes stuff, have you sent me the new background or whatever it was you were working on, the new layout?
I will export that tonight. I keep forgetting.
No hurry. I thought a while ago you told me that you did it. I couldn't find it, and I was so backlogged on stuff. I kept just making episodes. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to have a new layout that Alex said he made, but I don't see it anywhere.
I was thinking about that this morning, and I thought,
Okay.
well, I already made Weston that, and then, but no, what I did was I made it, never exported it because it was going to take a while to export,
Okay.
and then or for whatever reason, I didn't have time at that time. And then I thought, well, the intro's more important, so I just went ahead and made the intro. So I forgot, but yeah, I'll get that sent off to you. But it was. You really have to work your creative muscles when you really only have limited assets for like your brand. So like we have two colors. We got that yellow and that we don't, it's always
that
an
teal,
argument,
blue,
like
green, whatever
debate,
that color is.
whatever
Yeah.
And then all we have is the logo.
Hex code. I had the hex code written down somewhere. I couldn't tell you what it is now.
We should write that down. Yeah, keep that somewhere. But anyway, so we have that, and then we have the logo. That's it. And a couple iterations of it. So I just made it work. I ended up being pretty pleased with it too. You sent me your pictures, and I kind of like it. I like the black and white contrast. I stole that from you because you've done some black and white stuff, and it actually looks really good contrasted with the other colors, the black and white.
I think I think it works out really good that way. And I don't know. We have like, compared to anything I've seen, we have a unique color scheme and look vibe. I don't know. I haven't
Which is
seen
good. That's
quite
great.
like it myself. It might exist out there somewhere. I just haven't seen it. So I kind of like
I'm
what
happy
we've
with
got
that.
going on.
And it's funny too because that was a complete. That was a complete. We needed to have this was originally going to be a temporary kind of like logo. I remember we just needed something because we were going to launch and we kind of fell behind on like what we're going to do for an actual logo. And I thought, let me just plug around with it a little bit on a Premiere, and then I like this color and I like this color, and then that was it. And now it seems very unique to us. You're right. So I'm pretty happy with keeping it in those colors.
I had what's it called? Choice paralysis, where it's like we could do anything, so I don't know what to do type thing. And you're the one that came up with the color scheme in that original logo with the glasses and the
that's right.
Whatever, like that whole look or whatever. You came up with that because I was too busy trying to think like, okay, what should it look like? Get a professional, almost like commercial looking logo thing made or something like that. I was kind of in a different direction, but like also I didn't know what to go with.
Yeah, I think what we ended up being pretty good. Like, and it's simple, right? I mean, it's literally just a P with a microphone in it, which I'm sure that concept has been used elsewhere. I don't think it to that exact style, but like it's been used. But who cares? It's fun. And I remember you saying at first, even the song, because everything about it is kind of wacky. It's a little wacky, and not overly, but the music itself is pretty wacky. And I remember you said at first you weren't sure about it, and then it kind of grew on you over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely like it because my thinking behind the theme song was there was supposed to be a little bit of elegance in it, and that comes in from your song from at the beginning.
My song is the elegance.
I'm serious. No, let me explain. So like, because you have like kind of there's like trumpets, and like the actual song itself has a very kind of regal kind of feel to it at parts, and I liked that, and I want to capture that for the profound part. So the intro leading up to it is supposed to kind of represent that, because it sounds very like marchy. It's kind of it's a little more sophisticated in a way, and then I wanted to get it wacky for the ish, and we have an emphasis on the ish, but we do get profound sometimes. So there was a method to the madness. So I'm pretty pleased with how it all turned out.
I think so. I think for sure I want to see, we need to get more, like we mentioned, assets, and we're working on all these different things. And we need to get more like very profoundish, distinct assets to use. I don't know what that means or what that looks like, but stuff that you can put into like posts and things.
I agree.
And then we kind of failed a milestone that we hypothesized. That's not a word.
Hypothesized?
Hypothesized? Theorized?
Is that
anyway,
a word?
we were going to do like a merch march where I was going to make a store or something for March. That didn't happen. That got away from me. We've done a lot. So that's we still got to do that. We got to come up with a logo or a design. I mean, we can just use our P for the first set. We got to get that put on a store. That's still coming. That's still coming. That's in the works.
We got to get pictures of us in the shirts or the hoodies or whatever, and we got to do the thing. I definitely want a Profoundish coffee mug.
Sure. I think that could be that's very doable. That's easily doable.
Yeah, and plus we both drink coffee quite often on the show, so like
Yes.
I think it fits. We can have it. You know, like a lot of those like podcast or old talk shows, they always have their branded mug, you know, with them on the show. So
What if we did a thing where we got Profoundish branded mugs, and then when we started the episode, we would like take it and like clink the mugs to the camera, clink, and then start the episode.
I like it. That I can add a little like sound effect in there. Clink.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to fill my coffee too high though if I'm clinking, because we know what happens if I
Actually,
drink
no,
coffee
that's
in my
true.
studio.
Yeah, you
So
don't
I
want
need
to
to be
get too
careful
wild
with
with your coffee. Tune into our Patreon, patreon.com/profoundish, to learn about the coffee tales. Alex's,
The coffee tales of Alex.
Yeah, the coffee tales of Alex, of what he's done with his coffee in his office. When I say it like that, it sounds...
What could it be?
What could it have... What
Right.
does Alex get
Well,
up to with his coffee?
Context, right? Like if you said, go to OnlyFans to see Alex's coffee tales. You know, what does Alex do
Yeah.
with his coffee? You know, then there's a little more of a...
Oh, OnlyFans is dead. It's Fansly now. Fansly.com
Is that true?
I have no idea. I don't even know. I don't know
Fansly?
what these sites are. That's another.
speaking-
Well, that's another one of those. Just it's like a Patreon or something for celebrities
Okay.
or whatever. Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of like apps I didn't even know that like exist, but I guess I'm still subscribed to, is I got an email from Coffee Meets Bagel
Oh, okay.
this morning talking about they're updating their like terms and services or whatever. And I thought, oh my God, I obviously haven't touched that in ages. But that was, I think, one of the apps when you and I have talked about online dating that we haven't talked about. So there was
we
Coffee
didn't
Meets
talk
Bagel.
about Coffee Meets Bagel. I almost got into Coffee Meets Bagel. I never did though. I didn't pull the trigger on that one. I
had
pulled
a
the
couple
trigger
dates
on
from that.
Boo instead.
Is this a newer one? Boo?
I don't know how new it is. It was newer to me when I got it. Boo. Yeah.
Do they have like a shtick, or is it just like
There's-
all the other ones?
Yeah, their shtick is like you punch in a bunch of information about like you, and they like match up your personality. So like, you know, the typical Myers-Briggs, like INTP or ENFP or whatever, you know, the Myers-Briggs thing, and then they use that data to try to like connect you with people that would be compatible with you. So they try
Okay.
their shtick is a more like science-y approach, but they also have a bunch of like they have like a community section where you can also just, it's like forums. It's like a forum section where you can just talk about whatever, or you can like post things and that kind of thing. So it's like a weird, it's like a dating service meets a social media with this sort of like science match shtick to it. I talked to someone for a
unique.
long time on that. It didn't go anywhere. We were long distance, but I talked to someone that was pretty cool on there for a long time. So
Huh. I don't know. I'm curious. Let me know how that develops. I'm just curious if you stick
oh,
around
I
on there.
have
if
no
you
idea. I
don't.
haven't been on it in forever.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds
That-
like the
that was
development
just-
has not gone well.
But no, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, this is kind of neat, but like, you know, it was just kind of like different or whatever. And then the reason I brought it up was because it's one of the ones we haven't talked about before. So like Coffee Beats Bagel, Boo, all these other weird ones. I remember getting a lot of ads for that Hilly or Hiley or whatever it's called. I never pulled the trigger
I've
on
seen
that
that.
one either, because all their advertising was like get the girl your parents don't like, and I'm like, I'm not a teenage boy anymore or whatever. Like that, all the ads were like, no,
That's a specific market they're targeting there.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not the target demographic. Please stop showing me these ads. I'm not.
That's what-
I'm not a 17-year-old boy trying to get with the bad girl that my parents don't
Right.
approve of.
Yeah, seriously. That's why I said it once. I'll say it again. I met the love of my life on this app, so I'm a little biased, of course. But like Hinge, I loved their marketing. Just the app meant to be deleted. That is such
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Whether or not it's a great app is a different story. I mean, I think it was decent, but like the marketing was
yeah.
genius, I think.
Ultimately,
That was so
all
good.
these dating apps suck in like so many different ways, but you're just trying to find the one that sucks the least.
You know what's funny? It's like dating apps. I think that one of the original concepts was like, maybe not original, that's a lie, but like one of the ideas of it now, it's like, we are super busy. We work all the time to make ends meet. I don't want to go out to the bars every night. I got to get to sleep so I can go to work the next morning. Let me hop on my phone and see if I can meet someone, right? And the convenience of it. But, crap, Weston, I talked so long in that sentence, I forgot what I was going to say. What'd you just say? What'd you just say before me? Do you remember?
I just said that all dating apps kind of suck. You're just trying to find the one that sucks the least.
The problem, you got me back. The problem is that dating sucks. So, like, instead of it being more convenient, dating itself has always sucked. Like,
I will agree with you with the Hinge thing. My favorite dates have been through Hinge.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll agree with you on that. I'll agree with you. Those have been the best ones. So
I wonder what that is. I wonder if it's because that initial, whatever that means.
The initial, yep.
The initial, like, funnel, right? The people that it's pulling in to begin with maybe are already people who have higher intent to truly want to, like, meet someone.
I think so. Well, especially compared to something like Tinder, which is like the hookup app. So like already, like the further away you can get from Tinder, the more serious you'll find people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Hinge is a decent step away where it's not overly easy to just swipe through 10 billion people hoping for like just a thing. Like it's a little bit more intentional with what you're supposed to do on it. Yeah.
That's a good word to use for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you only had so many a day, right? You could like swipe through at like 7 a day.
You could get
something.
If you paid for the paid services, you can get unlimited. But for the free version, you could only get so many likes or so many swipes or something. You only had so many people lined up a day to even do. So you had to be choosy, which I thought was smart because even like a Tinder or a Bumble or they have a limit to how many things you can like in a day too, but it's a lot. Hinge was not very many. So they're like, we want you to be very choosy about who you like. Don't just swipe through yes on everybody you see. You're going to get like 10 likes a day, period.
It's kind of
if
weird.
If you paid for it, you could get unlimited.
It's kind of weird that like the concept of, I was thinking about this too. I think I thought about it after the coffee meets bagel thing. It might have been today where I was thinking about how I'm not the only one. I know a few couples, and you hear all these stories about people who do meet on these apps for free, and they're married. Like they're in a successful, happy relationship. Think about like the value you're getting out of that app. You're getting the ultimate value. You know what I mean? It's like you almost feel like you owe them something because it's a weird thought in my head. I don't know.
I know where you're coming from, but it's the lottery. For every one person that gets married on one of those apps, 10,000 people are like having the worst experience.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Like, and that's why they have like, okay, I get it. I get that.
Yeah,
it just seems like, I guess it is a pretty lucky thing to do. I mean, God, even in real life, even without the phones and without the apps and stuff, like the amount of successful marriages is continuing to dwindle. So it's a diamond in the rough, no matter how you look at it, no matter where you're going for it. I think isn't like the divorce rate over 50% now? I could be making that up.
I have no idea. I think I've heard that too. I've never tried to look into it.
It was.
I can't spell divorce.
Your face. For
those
of you listening, Weston's face just completely flattened, and it was just fantastic. Divorce rates in America.
Let's see. What am I looking at here? After reaching a 40-year record low for 2 consecutive years, 2020 and 2021, at 14 divorces per 1,000 married women, the divorce rate rose slightly in 2022 to 14.56 divorces per 1,000 married women. The overall trend in the divorce rate since 2008 remained downward despite the slight increase from 2021 to 2022. Oh. This comes to you from Bowling Green State University.
Oh, so it's on a slight decline. Interesting. Well, but what's like is there like a general just like, I guess it's hard to maybe pull that, but like percentage of marriages that like work within like a 20-year period or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious, like if there's a more easy
in 2021, a total of 689,308 divorces occurred across the 45 U.S. states that report those statistics.
Oh, there's 5 states that don't. That's interesting.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't know that. That comes from Forbes.
Well, I know it's always been like, you know, people throw things around, they don't ever look it up, but the talk has always been, you know, divorce rates are continuing to increase. I remember hearing that in 2020, divorce rates were super high but I never looked that up. Could have been a lie, because everyone was like stuck at home and realizing they weren't happy with their spouse. I heard that. Doesn't mean it's true.
I could see 2020 just being a stressful year. And like, if you're going to talk about even politically, let alone the plague, like, I think if there was anything that was going to stress test a marriage, that might have been it. Especially maybe younger marriage, like newer marriages or whatever, where you just hadn't been through something like that before.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. The older I get and the more single I remain, the less faith I have in the strength of a marriage to begin with. But that might just be my general pessimism showing.
You have such a way with words, Weston. That was pretty good. The older I get. Listen, we haven't said it on the pod yet. I'm a 30-year-old now too.
You are.
You know, we're both 30 now.
Yeah.
You know, well, you're almost on your way to 31.
I don't know where you're going with this. I'm on my way. I'm almost there.
I'm just saying we're a couple of old farts, is all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're trying to say about that, but okay.
Nope. Just saying we're a couple cranky old men.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I try not to be. It's actually funny. The cranky part is kind of funny because I still because I work with like a lot of teenagers a lot of the time. I also try to remain hip and like fresh.
How does that go,
and
though?
Goofy. It's hilarious. I love watching the cringe on their faces when I try to like use like words.
Good question though. Is that, do you at least feel like you have an into kind of what the language is like and stuff? Like, because you're exposed to it more, I guess. Being
exposed to either them talking and they don't realize how much I listen, or like because I stream too, so I hear a lot of stuff from just the internet, and then I'll bring that to work, and like these kids will be like, "Why do you know what that means?"
See, that's the problem. It's like they know that you're old enough to ask that question. It's like, why do you know what that means? You know,
I talk about me being ancient all the time. I'm an elder being, so they're like, "Well, hold on."
Does the language? Does their verbiage really sound pretty different at times? I'm just curious.
When you start stringing all the slang together in like a sentence or two, and you just use as many buzzwords as you can all together, it's like, whoa. Because they don't usually do that. They don't do that. Right. They'll drop a word here or a word there or something, but they don't just string it together.
That could be a fun activity that one of us should do for one of our segments, is like get all of the coolest, most hip lingo that like 16-year-olds are using now, and to see how much of it we know. Because I know for a fact, for me, it'll be very small.
I could do that. Put together a bunch of slang, and that would be fun, because I feel like I might be more with it than you are. This is just me speculating. I think it would be fun to get a list and say, "Hey, Alex, I'm going to have a list here. You have to tell me, is this word real or did I make it up? Like, is this actual slang that the Zoomers are using, or did I make it up?" That'll be a good one.
I think one reason for that is that you are more just kind of ingrained in like internet culture than I am at this point. Yeah. I've kind of stepped away from it. And so I feel like you have that edge. Plus, you have a younger audience that watches you, so you probably hear some of that through your audience too, if I were to guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No, but, for sure.
I don't stream, so I have a younger audience too, but they don't really have a lot of opportunity to comment on a Cubo medley. No cap, this is bussin'. Which
they could, though. They could.
Do they still say bussin'? I remember I heard bussin' once.
I still say bus. They don't say bussin' anymore. I still say bussin'.
Oh my God! I'm not that old. I feel like they were saying bussin' like 6 years ago. That's bussin'. I don't even know if that's how they say it.
It's really funny. They don't say bussin' anymore. That was like last year.
I know. What I thought another cool experiment would be, or not experiment, but just to see if we could figure it out. Has it always been this quick, like generationally speaking, where at its core, I'm only, for some of these kids, they're probably 17, 18, right? I mean, who are still speaking like that. I'm like 10 years older than you, 12 years older than you. And I don't understand any lingo you're saying. Is it always just a 10-year difference? I feel like we're not that much older than them in the scheme of it all.
Well, you know what's kind of wild? You're like, we're not that much older than them. There's an argument about where Gen Z starts, but if you take it, the oldest Gen Zers right now are like 27-ish.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, because 96, like, yes, you're right, because people born just a little bit after us are the cutoff for millennials.
Yeah,
because
pretty
we're
much
very young
the
millennials.
cutoff, like when you get to about, if you're born 1995, you're getting to be the cutoff, because to be a millennial, you still need to kind of remember the turning of the millennium. So like when you start getting 96, 97, 98, that's the point where it's like those people born then still were born in the 20th century, but they don't have any, they were babies. They weren't even conscious yet.
I remember all when we were like teenagers and a little bit younger. I remember all the millennial talk, like, "Oh, you millennials don't have any work ethic. You millennials don't know this." And I know a lot of that's generational, happens every generation.
Yeah.
But also, it's funny how we are barely millennials, because millennials
we're
were
actually
really
the youngest millennials. Yeah,
right. Millennials are really
among
more
the youngest.
like in their 30s and early 40s. Like those are millennials, which is weird to think about, but we're all aging, so so that's just a weird thought. So I guess that checks out. But
it's weird.
There's not just an easy cutoff though, because when I think of a 27-year-old, I picture them a lot more like me than a Gen Z or whatever you want to consider that.
I think it does depend on your region and like what experiences you grew up with. To me, there's a certain point, like my brother's kind of on that cutoff too, right around the 95 area, where if he grew up with more of a Zoomer mentality, like hung out with people younger than him or whatever, he could identify that way. Or if he hung out with me and people older than him, like he did, like you guys are his friends too. If you hung out with older people, it's like he's on that cusp where he can kind of swing either way, so he can identify more millennial if he wants to. And you and me are close to that, just not as close as he is. We're kind of close to that, where it's like we could hang with the Zoomers a little bit, but I identify more with the millennials, just not the elder millennials. The older millennials are a little bit too close to a little bit. Again, if you're like 40, it's like you've got a whole decade gap of experiences. I don't quite. If you were born in the 80s, I don't fully identify with you.
Correct. Yeah, totally agreed. And you mentioned regional too. Me, you, your brother, we're all from a very kind of run-of-the-mill, just small town that doesn't really, in and of itself, carry a lot of, keep up or carry a lot of, like, really significant culture. It's just kind of there. I mean, it's its own culture, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just kind of straight, just kind of a small town. When I feel like as a kid, you're exposed to so much more if you live in a city and you go to like schools, which usually are a lot more just kind of diverse in all ways, whether it's activities you do or the people you go to school with or things you learn about. So that probably plays a role too. Someone who's 27 could be much more in that, in the Gen Z side. I'm assuming, I'm just kind of, right, if you're at a more like kind of diverse city, school, growing up that way. We grew up in a very run-of-the-mill small town.
Yeah,
that probably plays a role.
Something like that. There's something there where, if you grew up in a faster paced, more diverse, more, I don't know, that kind of environment, you're more likely to be exposed to those newer ideas. And by newer ideas, I just literally mean of the new generation. So you might identify that way more. Which,
right, for better or worse. It's just different, I guess, because I know like a lot of us coming from small towns ended up being exposed to a lot of new ways of thinking and cultures and all kinds of different diversity as adults, which is a totally different perspective as coming up with it. I don't know. It's just, that's another interesting thing to think about because it's profound.
What's your favorite slang term of any generation?
Slang term of any generation. Do you have one offhand?
I don't, not offhand. We were talking about slang, so I'm like, what's your favorite?
Yeah,
think my favorite I think it's a Zoomer one. My favorite Zoomer one has got to just be yeet.
Yeet.
Yeah.
That's just like a celebration. That's celebratory, right? Yeet.
Right? Or if you throw something,
yeet.
if you just chuck something, just yeet.
One of my just yeet. Well, when we chucked something, in our generation, it was Kobe. We did that. Remember we'd always shoot the ball, we'd go Kobe.
I was watching a video a couple days ago of someone, this was like a TikTok or something, where someone was doing the, what's it called when it's like an Asian grill that they cook like in front of you or whatever?
Hibachi.
It was doing like a hibachi grill. and like the chef or whatever chucked like a piece of something, fish or something somewhere, and he said Kobe or something like
awesome.
that. And the person sitting like across, just racist, I guess, was like, "Why do you have to bring a black person into this?" And it's
my God.
okay, but the end of the story was that the freaking chef had to explain who Kobe was to this lady.
My gosh, are you kidding me?
Like I'm not bringing a black person into this. He was just a basketball player, and when you shoot
one of the best,
you call it,
yeah,
right, one of the best or whatever. And it was just there was so many layers to this video. At first, it was like, okay, random racism, and then two, like she doesn't know
seriously.
who Kobe is, and it's like, okay, all right,
that's insane.
It was weird. It was really weird.
I'm trying to think of another slang, because like I'm trying to think of like really funny slang, because there's some slangs that have just stuck around, like cool. That's a slang,
technically
right?
Slang, yeah.
And like, because like if someone's learning English, they're gonna learn cool probably in a different way than how we say cool, But that I don't know when that started. That'd be interesting to find out. But I know it's been around.
Cool started.
But one thing that it's always been in my vocabulary, at least to a small degree, and it's just from my parents because they always said it was groovy. That's groovy.
Groovy.
I love groovy, and that's kind of like no one says it like. Anyone who says it now, it's usually like ironically, right? They don't say it just because it's a part of their day-to-day vocabulary, but
no,
I like groovy a lot. But you still hear it. It's not like completely gone. Like there's some that are completely gone. Like unless you're a Ninja Turtle, you don't hear cowabunga anymore. But cowabunga was one.
You have to be a surfer dude for that one.
Cowabunga, dude. There's a ton. I can't think of anything else.
I do that at work all the time. If someone needs me to do, like, it's usually like it's just during the day shift. If I do something for someone and they're like, "Oh, thanks," like I moved a thing or finished a thing or whatever. If I do something for someone and they say thanks, I say, "Shaw, dude."
Shaw, dude.
Shaw, dude.
Shaw, dude. I love that.
I don't know why
Shaw,
I do
dude.
that. I just do it and they get a good kick out of it. Shaw, dude.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I think the last time I was kind of up with it, and I just mean up with it, I wasn't using it, was when, and no, this is going to make me sound old, but fire. When fire was a thing, that was my exit point. Because some people our age I know say fire still. Like, oh, that's fire. But that was kind of my exit. I didn't really subscribe to fire very much. Did you ever really say fire? I don't think you did.
No, never. Never. I usually don't get on top of this stuff like when it's actually relevant. Fire and then like lit.
I said lit from time to time, but usually ironically, but that's really out of my vocabulary now too.
I used fam sometimes, but like it was usually ironically.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll still say fam. Because we used to say, that's lit, fam.
Right.
That was right on the edge
they went
of it all.
together.
One cool thing that we did, like our generation, at least the younger millennials, we brought back a slang, which was legit. Because legit was big in like maybe the 80s, early 90s, with like too legit to quit and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But and then it disappeared. And there's some 2000 slang, and then we brought it back. I remember in high school, we were all saying, that's legit.
That's actually, that's a good point, how slang makes its way back, and then a generation thinks they invented it. The Zoomers brought back vibe. No one was using the word vibe for anything, and then the Zoomers started using it all the time. It's like, well, that's already a word. It already exists. Just no one was using it, so they brought it back.
And maybe because it is brought back and not kind of new, I implement that more now. Like I say, it's a vibe. I do say that. I'll say it's a vibe.
I do that a lot too
because it makes sense. Yeah. That one makes sense to me,
and it's because it's not actually new. So that I use vibe a lot, and it's like I never did before. The Zoomers brought it back to life. It's like, oh yeah, I recognize that vibe.
Yeah,
I get it. Vibe.
Oh,
that one makes sense to me. Bussin' didn't make sense. I still don't understand based. Based
I don't
feels like it's an insult,
either.
but it's not.
I know, that's what I feel. I've heard based. I swear I've heard it in different contexts, but
I've been called
I don't know.
based, and I'm like, I feel like I should be offended, but I don't think I am.
Right. I don't get it. Oh, one that I think we introduced this one. Another word we brought back, but I don't think it was ever used as slang, but it's a real word, epic.
Epic was a good one.
Epic was huge for us. It's like, that's epic. Because we started, epic became what awesome has like been for a long time. Awesome is such a special big word, but we use it every day, so it sounds like it's full of awe.
Well,
it's
literally,
awesome. Like,
it was just literally our version of lit. Epic.
Yeah, it's like, that's epic. And so what we did is we took something that, like, because epic is epic, and we slowly diminished, I think, the power of what it means. So, well, that's epic, you know. But that's just kind of what you do with slang, I guess. But, yeah, we use it all the time. Epic fail, that was huge, all that stuff. That's kind of gone now. No one really says that stuff anymore.
Well, I'm glad we got around to talking about how old we are. Because, Alex, this is your birthday episode. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
By the time this episode comes out, it will have been long past Alex's birthday. But it was his birthday not too long ago. And so I wanted to spend some time talking about getting older and age and birthdays and that kind of thing. And I feel like we kind of got around to that accidentally. And so we need to go ahead and take our short little break. And when we return, we're going to be talking about and ranking children's birthday games. We'll be right back. Profoundish is brought to you in part by HastilyMadeDecision.com. Get your poetry fix from my poetry blog featuring haiku, senryu, freeform stuff, and more. Again, that's HastilyMadeDecision.com for your poetry fix.
Profoundish is brought to you in part by my music. I'm a singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. Most of my songs tell stories, some real, some not, but all of them speak to an experience that we all share, the human condition. Search my name, Alex Duquette, on any streaming platform. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. If you're watching the video on YouTube or Spotify, you'll see that I have handmade a very special tier list in Google Docs instead of actually doing a tier list.
For anyone listening, it's colorful. There's so many graphics on the screen. It's a beautiful work of art.
I wonder if I can zoom in just a little bit for you. There
and by that, it's an untitled document in Google Docs.
It's an untitled. It is the same document I use for I'll scroll up for literally all of our other games that we do with our.
I'm glad you kept those. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're in here. I just used the same. I should title the doc, but it's untitled doc. I have several untitled documents in my Google Docs.
That makes me sick to hear. But I'm not surprised. I've seen your desktop. I know the way you live your life. I just can't do it how you do it.
If anyone had to ever investigate my computer or things or whatever to find if I'm gone, I've gone missing or I'm dead or something. If someone has to investigate my things and I'm not around to explain, good luck. Good luck.
Oh goodness.
What we're doing today is I have a list of 20. We don't have to get through all 20. I'm just stealing this list from a website. This website is care.com, apparently. And the reason I'm using this website is because I actually explained these games. I had a different website, but then half the games they didn't explain. I'm like, I don't know what these are. Anyway, right. I have a list of 20 kids' games to play for birthdays. Like party ideas. Like, it's a birthday party. I want the kids to be playing some kind of game. And I'm a little curious to know if, as we go through these, if you've heard of any of these or if you did any of these, because my memory of birthday parties don't really involve a lot of activities, not like the ones that I'm about to read off. But we're going to be ranking them. I've got an S through F tier, S, A, B, C, D, F, as in, S is super great, F is a fail. We're ranking these based on, hear me out, we're ranking these on their value for training kids to survive.
Okay. All right.
Because ultimately, what is the point of raising your children if not to teach them how to survive on their own? And I think these birthday party games are are a great opportunity to teach these kids how to survive either the wilderness or a zombie apocalypse or something. We'll be ranking these.
Okay. I just want to make sure. You mean literal survive. You don't mean to build character and survive life. You mean survive.
survive.
Like actually survive life. Okay.
Yeah, like
right.
like in a life or death situation.
Okay.
How well do these games? Again, it's for kids. How well do these games start to prepare our youth for the inevitable apocalypse we will all one day see?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like this. Maybe we can gain some insight on some of these games here.
I figured, you and I are both millennials that have seen a few apocalypses in our times. We saw Y2K. We saw the Mayan calendar collapse in 2012. We had the plague in 2020. You and I have seen a lot of apocalypses. So I figure this this is something we're familiar
a lot of tragedy.
with.
All right, let's do it.
Level. Let's do it. Game number 1, Prize Walk. This game is similar to a cakewalk, a popular carnival game, but instead of winning a cake, kids win prizes. Write numbers from 1 to 30 on squares and tape them to the ground in a circle. Make small numbered squares to correspond with the numbers on the ground and keep them in a basket. Start the game by having each child stand on a number and begin walking around the circle when the music starts. When the music stops, they have to stand on a number. If their number is chosen from the basket, they win a prize. This game can continue until everyone wins a prize.
Okay. So it's
survival.
Survival. I don't think this is really useful. Because, I mean, what's it going to teach you that one day you'll be called to do something, So this is kind of interesting because if this had been literally musical chairs, in musical chairs you keep whittling away chairs and people get eliminated until one survives, and that would have been great. Whereas Prize Walk, the whole objective is to guarantee that everybody wins. Exactly, which is not what is going to happen during the next apocalypse or tragedy or anything that happens. Everybody doesn't win. In fact, odds are you won't win statistically. So,
which is why we need to be playing musical chairs instead, so that you can practice, train, and be the one that survives.
Exactly.
So this is a good example where, unlike a lot of our tier lists, where we're usually starting in S's and A's and B's, we're like, oh, we like these things. I think this is an F. I think we're setting the baseline for F territory here.
Listen, kids are so impressionable. Like this, you're not going to learn much from this. Yeah, I'm totally with you. Prize Walk, F.
There's no participation awards in the zombie apocalypse.
Hell no. They don't care. Yeah, exactly. They're just hungry. They want your flesh.
Now, I feel like that's setting the tone. We know what we're looking for now, right? We want survival skills. Now, the second one, I've never heard of this before. Bubble wrap races. This game is fun, and will have everyone giggling. Buy a large roll of bubble wrap and lay out a 5-foot piece of it in the yard or an open space. Have each child cross the bubble wrap barefoot. The object is to get all the way across without popping any of the bubbles. If you want to make it more competitive, line up 3 sections and have teams race across to the other side. The team who crosses without making a peep or making the least pops wins. This game is best for kids ages 3 and up.
I mean, this one's pretty big because this is going up in the top section for sure. Because you can learn about stealth. You can learn about agility. I think there's a lot to learn here.
Yeah, I think this in motor skills, like being able to move, again, you're barefoot, right? So you're not stomping around in your shoes or whatever. You're actually learning to run, walk, whatever, stealth, barefoot, and make as little noise as possible. When we go back to that zombie apocalypse, you don't want to be sprinting around, flap, your feet on like pavement or something. The zombies are like, "Rrr," and they come chasing after you.
Mm-hmm. This is something we could learn from as adults.
Right. We could.
I'm just saying. So,
how many adults do you know that stomp everywhere they walk? It's like, whoa, easy.
Stop
You're
stomping,
Jerry.
Yourself.
Yeah, stop, Jerry. Everywhere you go, it's like you want us to know you're there.
It's because I do. That was Jerry talking.
That was Jerry.
See, I don't know how the games are going to go, so I mean, maybe we can do like A for now.
We could do A for now.
And see what else there is, because there might be something that's like, oh my gosh, this is essential to survival. I mean, this is important, but if you can run fast enough, and have other skills, you don't need to be stealthy. It's important, but you don't need it.
I think the stealth is a very good aspect, and this definitely hones in on that one skill. So, like, it's definitely high tier. We'll leave it an A.
Yeah.
Donut on a string.
Yes,
I've never
please.
heard of most of these things. This one is simple enough for the younger guests and delicious enough for everyone else. Tie a rope to something sturdy, such as thick tree branches. Use ribbons to attach each donut to the rope so that the donut hangs freely and is at a good length for the party guests. On the count of 3, each player must try to eat their entire donut without it falling to the ground. The big challenge, no hands allowed. The first person to finish their donut without it falling wins. There's really no need for prizes here because the donuts are the prize themselves.
Somebody had fun writing that. Why don't you take it? Why don't you lead with this one? What do you think? What do you think?
This one's interesting because this one gets you thinking about how to, like, not use your hands. So if you're in a survival situation, hands are tied or otherwise you're incapacitated, you have to be able to solve problems, be problem solving with what you have. And that could literally come down to just nothing else but your jaw and your teeth, you know? Yeah. So this comes down to that aspect of not using your hands and learning how to do that, and also coordination to be able to manipulate that donut with like your head. So we're talking about coordination there. It's not, they're not great skills coming from this game, but I think we're stepping up from that F tier prize walk and heading more into maybe C or D territory.
When things get dire, it could come in handy. For example, if you're in, like you said, incapacitated, you don't have hands. What if you're, things get rough. What if you lose a hand? There are situations where this could be, it's a little more extreme, but I'm kind of with you there. My thinking with a letter is probably around C to B, maybe C.
You're thinking a little higher? Because I was like CD, you're like CB. We put it in C?
I think C is fair. Because there is some merit. There's use to this. Like, it's not like you wouldn't learn a thing, but I don't think it's as essential as being able to be stealthy and all that.
Oh, definitely not that. Next one, musical statues.
I'm listening.
Play some upbeat music and let the kids dance like crazy. When the music is paused, each child must freeze like a statue. If anyone is caught moving, they're out. This one is lots of fun for younger kids, but tougher for those under 4 years old. Anyone younger than 4 can be encouraged to dance along in a separate area just for fun. Make sure to give out small prizes like stickers, blah, 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 blah. But the ultimate thing here is that music plays, but when it stops, you have to freeze dead in your tracks.
I'm split on this one because inherently, or like the first thing I think what we all think is, well, yeah, freezing. It kind of has to do with the stealth thing again. Like, you want to kind of be able to blend in with your surroundings so you can hide. But it's such a specific thing. It's just freezing. What if you need to move, and what if and you're not fast enough? You're still going to get killed. I feel like it's still better than prize walk. Like, it's more crucial to survival, but it's still not up there with bubble wrap races.
I think this.
What do you think?
I think this heads towards bubble. I don't think it's quite bubble wrap races, so I don't think it's quite A. But hear me out. This does teach you to listen and pay attention to your environment. Even if you're out like in a survival scenario, right, where you're having a good time, like, you're in your camp with your buddies or whatever, and you're just making food, whatever, then you hear a twig snap in the woods and you have to stop. What was that? If you're all carrying on and having a good time, being oblivious and not paying attention, you don't hear that twig snap. You don't hear the crazy hunter that's about to sneak up on your family and murder all of you. I think this makes you listen. It makes you freeze so that you can blend in, camouflage, not be seen, that kind of thing. So we're working on that stealth a little bit, but also to listen and pay attention.
Oh my gosh, you sold me on it. I didn't even think about the listening aspect of it. I just thought about the freezing aspect. Yeah, I mean, that I'm thinking it's almost up there with bubble wrap. B at the lowest, in my opinion.
That's kind of where I'm thinking is like B territory. If I convinced you that it's A territory, we can go to A. But I was thinking maybe a good B one.
I was sitting around C, so you brought me up to B. I think that's fair. Let's do it.
That's good. Musical statues. I think Yeah, I think there's something to be said there.
Plus,
a little under the radar.
Maybe there's, some weird, maybe in the future there'll be some weird kind of subspecies of zombie that maybe gets distracted by dancing. Maybe, because you're also going to be learning, getting some experience dancing in too. So maybe you can dance your way out of a situation. You never know.
Maybe this is like Jurassic Park, and like the T-Rex is activated by movement, so you have to freeze so that you don't get eaten by the T-Rex.
I like that, but I like my dancing idea better.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Well, I wanted to introduce like one more survival thing that wasn't zombies, so it's like, well, maybe it's dinosaurs. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it.
Next one, the bubble game. This is one for your youngest guest, and it's perfect for toddlers and young preschool age kids. An adult will blow bubbles, or you could opt for a faster bubble machine. And the players race around to pop as many bubbles as they can. Once you've played a few times, let the kids start taking turns being the bubble blower. You'll be surprised how many times young children will want to play this game. Hand out small prizes at the end for all your little bubble players. Popping bubbles.
Yeah, it's popping bubbles.
This is the interesting question here is the idea is that you have to race around and pop the bubbles. Is this enough athletic training to be D territory, or is this still like prize walk nonsense?
I'm thinking more prize walk nonsense. I'm trying to give it any credit I can. I mean, it's racing, right? Now, what they're not describing in between the lines here is that there could be a lot of competitiveness that ensues. Maybe you're pushing your friends out of the way to get to the bubbles and stuff,
right.
Which when push comes to shove, if you want to survive, literally, yeah, really, that might be important to know is like sometimes I got to push myself ahead to get to the prize. Other than that, I mean, like, I still think it's a little bit better than prize walk. So I'd either put it above prize walk and F or perhaps D, because I do think that competitive. Well, and to your point as well, like running, speed, that sort of thing. I think it has a little bit of merit to it compared to prize walk when it comes to surviving.
Okay. D?
I'm fine with D.
All right, we'll put it in D.
It's got something.
Bubble game. It's got something there. And again, it's for the youngest ones. So like you're just introducing survival.
Right.
All right. This next one. You're just introduce it.
Yeah, exactly. For the 3-year-old. Yeah.
This was a little involved. BYOB bike/tricycle race.
Oh.
Kids will stay happily occupied with this obstacle course bike race, which includes a bike decorating contest and awards ceremony. Just note on the invitations that it's a BYOB bring your own bike party, and be sure to ask parents to bring their kids' helmets along, blah, blah, blah. Create a short obstacle course and time each rider separately, or if it's a large area, they can all go at the same time. This game can also be made into a relay race. The race can take place in a park, vacant lot, cul-de-sac, or driveway. Have kids decorate bikes with streamers, pennants, noisemakers, made from playing cards, placed between spokes, etc. You can find traffic cones at any major home improvement store, plastic skateboard ramps at local supercenters. You can also have a water spray at the end of the race course during summertime parties. At the end of the race, hand out prizes like plastic trophies, water bottles, etc.
I mean, come on, this is huge.
Bicycle obstacle course, essentially.
Right. So traversal is really important in apocalyptic times, whether that be by foot or if by chance you can get a vehicle running or moving or anything like that. And when I think of apocalyptic stuff, I think of the nuclear, like post-apocalyptic sort of thing. There's crap everywhere. You're going to need to know how to dodge, get around. You can't tell me that streets are going to be squeaky clean anymore. I think this is a pretty big one for learning survival with traversal and being able to dodge obstacles. I just don't know where to place it, but definitely upper tier, I'd say.
Yeah, I think with the obstacle, you've got motor skills with operating the bike, and then of course you've got an obstacle course, so you have to be able to navigate an environment. In the apocalypse, no one's maintaining roads and lawns and things, so being able to like navigate an an environment like that, and then being able to do so quickly. I think this is a good one. It does necessitate that you have something like a bike or something available to you, which maybe in an apocalypse you don't have a working bike, so it's not like you're learning repairing bicycle skills or anything like that. But I think this isn't bad. This might be kind of similar to musical statues in a way, like at B, or it might be A.
I'm fine with that because Bubble Wrap Races still hasn't been beaten for it, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
B. BYOB. I'm going to just call it bike race. I didn't mean to put a comma where I did. Wow, that was supposed to be a space.
It's kids games. Bring your own beer.
Bring your own
race.
beer. All right, here's one. This balloon burst. Kids bop a balloon in the air to music until the music stops. Then whoever was the last to touch the balloon must pop it and complete the challenge that's inside. Write challenges on paper and insert them into balloons before inflating. Have enough balloons to continue the game for as long as you decide. Challenges can be anything from trivia questions to physical tests, like trying to lick your elbow or sing a song with a mouthful of crackers. Younger players may need a little assistance in reading the challenges.
So this could cover a wide range of stuff.
It's a little bit like hot potato, but then with like stuff you have to do if you're the hot potato.
My focus is more on like the challenges that it could provide, because the challenges alone could be lessons in themselves.
They could be.
And if we're talking licking your elbows, so we're talking motor skills. We're talking. There's or even trivia, right? So like having, I think that could come in handy. If you're kind of generalizing it, right, to like, I guess if we're using really, never mind. If we're using trivia to really what it is, a lot of it's going to be kind of useless in survival because it's trivia.
You could almost see, unless the trivia is survival related. So you pop the balloon and it's like a trivia question and it's like, I don't know, like, how many rads can the human body sustain before you're poised or whatever? I can't think of survival things. I'm not going to survive. How would you...
You need to partake in the bubble wrap races.
Water? Name 3 methods of purifying water. Or
there you go.
Of these 3 mushrooms, which one is the poison?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That kind of thing. This one kind of cheats a little bit. The game itself, the balloon bursting, the little hot potato game itself isn't anything crazy, but then the idea of being able to put challenges in it gives it a little bit something where you can cater your survival challenges to your kids a little bit.
And also, I can't think of a good word for it, but the immediacy of needing to complete the challenge, like after you open it. So I'm assuming the idea is kind of like, okay, the game, then you pop it open and it's like, okay, do the challenge, right? You don't have time to think about the question. You don't really, you got to do the challenge and get it done. So I don't know what word to use for that, but I think there's something to that a little bit.
You have to improvise a little bit.
Improvise, you got to act quickly, but also in survival, you need to act quickly, but also keep a clear head and think on your feet and not just, so I don't know. I think I wanted to mention that.
I think with that in mind, you kind of gave it a good twist. I think with that in mind, is it like C territory, B territory? Is it actually? Because that's where it kind of cheats a little bit. The game itself isn't crazy. The challenges could be, so maybe just C, like smack in the middle.
C.
All right.
I think C is good. Next to donut on a string.
Next to donut on a string. All right. I'm going to go through a few more of these. There's one in... Okay. Here's one. Head pop. For this giggly favorite, you will need balloons of 2 different colors. Around 20 per color is ideal. And 2 hats with pins sticking out of the top of them. Tie the balloons at various heights from the ceiling. They should be at least high enough that the kids are able to pop them with their heads. To start, 1 player from each team is given a hat to put on and 15 seconds to try and pop as many of their team's balloons as possible. When their 15 seconds is up, the next players from each team are given 15 seconds to try. A new player from each team tries to pop the balloons every 15 seconds. The first team to pop all their balloons wins.
This is ridiculous. F. F. The only thing I can think of, I mean, like, I guess, I mean, what are you going to be getting up there? It's such a specific movement, jumping upwards and getting something with your head. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any real application.
Hear me out.
Oh, my God. Let's hear it.
Imagine all these kids wearing hats with pins sticking out of them.
I mean, yes, I understand what that can do. Like, I get it, but
Can you? Who in their right mind is actually playing this game?
I know. Well, my first thought is this is a safety issue for kids. Like, I have no
This is
idea why
amazing.
Yeah, it's a game apparently though.
This gave me vibes of Fallout, like playing like Fallout 4, and the bandits wearing all their armor with the crazy spikes out of them that shouldn't be even safe to wear, and yet they're wearing it anyway. Is this a game? Hear me out. Is this a game about teaching your kids intimidation tactics?
I don't know if I subscribe to that one, Weston. That's
okay,
pretty
maybe not. I
far-fetched.
tried. I
don't know
tried.
about that.
Okay.
I don't think that's being instilled. I can't see much application here. I mean, if you really see anything there, I'll give you a D, but I'm thinking F.
All right, we can put it at F. I wanted to give it the best
Hear me
shot
out.
I could. Hear me out. I read this one and I'm like, okay, I have to bring this up because who is playing this
Who is
game
playing
where
that?
they're
I
putting
know.
pins in hats?
That's crazy.
I could just imagine that going horribly wrong, but I just thought that
Right.
was too funny to not do. What do we got here? Here's another one. Photo scavenger hunt. This one I could see people doing. Divide the players into teams. It doesn't really matter how large or small the teams are. You just need to have enough phones to give one to each team. Make sure the phones have a protective case on them. Give the teams a list of things that they need to capture photos of in order to win. These can be as simple as taking a picture of something blue, a photo of one teammate giving another a piggyback ride, or a selfie of all of them in front of a specific tree. Use your imagination and whatever is available in your location to come up with the list for the teams. Whichever team completes the list first wins. As an added bonus, you'll be able to collect a bunch of birthday party photos to share with friends and family.
I like this.
This is a much better game. This is a game I could actually see people playing.
Yeah, I would have liked this. So at its core, it's a scavenger hunt, and you take pictures of what you're supposed to find. I think there's some use here. You got something?
Yeah. I'm thinking this is actually kind of a stealth hit, right? Like, this is really good. One, you're scavenger hunting. You're learning to look for things in your environment. You're learning to pay attention and keep your eyes peeled and that kind of thing, to be very aware of your surroundings. But two, it's team-based, and you're learning team bonding and team building skills. And in survival, that is probably going to make all of the difference. Doing it alone is significantly more difficult than doing it with a group.
True, and also, there's going to be hopefully, a lot of dodging and a lot of downtime from the actual heavy impact and action of zombie interactions.
Yeah.
So, which is where a lot of that comes in handy. Scavenging, finding supplies, working together. You look at bubble wrap races, that is about confronting or getting near the enemy, which is where you need to sneak away, be quiet, get past to not be heard or seen. This is more about what's going to be happening the other 70% of the time. This is huge. So
I think this could actually be secretly kind of a big one and a really easy one to accomplish.
I know. Listen, I think you're thinking it. And I think
Is this an S?
I like it as S. I think it'll be used the most. I think it's one of the most important, if not the most important.
I think getting your kids really familiar with looking for things. Again, it can you start them off young, like, yeah, take a picture in front of a tree, or yeah, go find something blue. But then you get to the point where it's like, find the portobello mushrooms in the woods, or what, I don't know what mushrooms are in the woods. Find that. Find a source of running water. Find Timmy's trapped somewhere. Find him.
Right.
Or something.
Find the carburetor, the only missing piece of the vehicle you need to get restored so you can drive it, and get out of there. There's a lot. I like it.
There you go. I think That about does us on time. So I think our list for games, how many games did we go through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We went through 9 of them. I had like 20 of them here, but we went through 9 of them. Our list goes as such. At the S tier, we've got the photo scavenger hunt that we liked quite a bit. At A, the bubble wrap races. B, the bring your own bike race and the musical statues. C, the balloon burst and the donut on a string. D, the bubble game. And at F category, we had the head pop and the prize walk.
Man, listen, this was, I got to say, honestly, this is pretty creative. I like this one. This is good. I'm glad we weren't doing kids' birthday games based on, how I'm not even going to say it, but
I was going to say, I don't even want to say it.
Based on how much, yeah. So, but this is great. I think these are all very useful things, and I think you and I should maybe pick up some of these games, maybe play them next time we're together and see if we learn something. You got blurry there.
I did. I leaned forward, the camera went out of focus, and it just never came back.
And that's it.
But yeah, if you guys haven't heard of some of these games before, I hadn't heard of most of them, and you need to find some good games to teach your children survival skills, now you have a good start to a list. How would you rank these, everybody at home? What games do you know about, and where would you put them on this list?
Also, I just want to give a little suggestion. If you're of legal drinking age, some of these might be fun to play that way, with a few drinks in your belly.
I said
legal drinking age. Yeah, not the kids. I want to make that clear. Yeah,
adult birthday party.
Yep.
Adult photo scavenger hunt where you're all drunk and have to search the neighborhood for various things.
No, honestly, that's funny. But also think about the bubble wrap one. That would be hilarious. Like we're all like drinking.
Well, now think about the head pop one.
We shouldn't do that one. That one is a danger hazard. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that one was in the kids' games one. And maybe what I'm picturing in my head is not what the author was picturing in their head, because I'm picking like literally a hat with just spikes out of it as the kids run around bobbing their head around. I'm like, this is a terrible idea.
I feel like whoever wrote this post or whatever just thought of it and never played the game. That's what it feels like. They thought, oh, this is a good idea, and they never actually seen it. Yeah,
I could just, I don't know. I could just see that going horribly wrong.
It seems dangerous. I agree.
But hey, that's been Profoundish, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching. Before you go, we would like to tell you all about ourselves. Alex, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at alexduquette.net. Hey, listen, another place you can find me, though. I'm change my answer. I just recently put out my latest VGM Quest video. Ooh. I cover I do a retrospective and deep dive and a musical analysis on the soundtrack to the classic Super Mario 64. So go check that out. That's on YouTube. You can just type in VGM Quest. Anything else you can find at alexduquette.net. Weston, what about you?
Yes. I have a website as well, westonhasty.com. You can go there to find all of the various things that I do. I play video games on YouTube. You can find it at Magic Man Mo on YouTube. You can come say hi to me on Twitter at Weston Hasty. You can buy my recent poetry book called Smiling for the Sky. It's available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions. If you want to read some of my haiku, it's in there. I think that's about everything I can think of. This has been Profoundish. You can listen to it where you're listening to it, but wherever you are listening to it, make sure before you go, you hit that 5 stars, like button, whatever you can do, favorite. And then, of course, if you are on Spotify, maybe also head on down to the polls or Q&A section and leave your answers to whatever we've left down there for you.
Please.
And until next time... All right.